Sandy here today with another topic about Down syndrome. So it's come to my attention recently that there's been some question for our community about how do we interact with a person who communicates without words. Sometimes it's tricky when you meet someone who sometimes people will say are nonverbal. And how do we work with them? How do we talk with them? How do we interact with them? So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what that is and how do we best serve our population of individuals who communicate without words. So number one thing to remember. So let's start. You know how I like a checklist. Number one, behavior is communication. So when you meet someone who communicates without words, we want to watch their behaviors. We want to observe them because they're communicating with us. So if they're looking away and looking down, maybe putting their face up, might mean they don't really feel like talking. Or if they're looking you right in the face and smiling, you can recognize that they're super happy and they really want to engage with you. So also, listen to any sounds they might make. It might sound different than words, but you might hear happy sounds, or you might hear sad sounds, or you might even hear simple sounds that will clue you in as to what they're trying to tell you. Pay attention to what's happening around. Use context. So we want to look around what happened before we started meeting, what happened after, so that you can kind of figure out what that person might be interested in or might be feeling. And then also observe and react to the person. Don't focus so much on what you have to say. We want to focus on what they have to say. Number two, use simple words. Sometimes we want to just blabber on, and we want to say 100 words when maybe 10 would do. So we want to use simple words, small phrases, and short sentences. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, tonight I have to go home and I have to cook dinner and I have to do the laundry and then I'm gonna walk the dog and then I'm finally gonna get to go to bed. How about, I have a lot to do when I get home tonight before I can go to bed. Simple, short phrases. I don't need to give all the details. Or how about this? If we want a behavior to change, we could try walking feet. Instead of saying, don't run, it's not safe. We can use short, simple words instead of these long phrases. Number three is we want to give a longer wait time for response. So if we ask a question, we want to wait. And the main rule that we always talk about is the rule of 10. We want to wait 10 full seconds or sometimes even longer for a response. So if I say, what's your name? I want to wait 10 full seconds. Sometimes when you're waiting, that feels like a really long time, but it's really important that we give that person the opportunity to think of the words we said, process them, and then come up with a response. And that might take a little bit longer than the average person. Number four, we want to use gestures, pictures, images, sometimes even just saying point to. So we can say, do you like the red or the blue? And maybe hold up the red and the blue so they can show you. Using pictures or objects to help you figure out what they're trying to communicate is also a great way to understand what they're saying. Number five, using sign language. That's number five. Number five, use sign language. Learn the basics. They're not hard. Some of my favorites, more, all done, wait. There's lots of great signs that we can learn. I also like, what's your name? So sometimes just those simple signs might help that person communicate with you on another level. And number six, my favorite one, we want to always offer to show me. If you're trying to tell me something and I'm not understanding, show me. Can you show me what you want? Show me where you're trying to take me. Bring me in, because we always want to make sure our individuals with Down syndrome, or anyone who communicates without words, is included and feels part of the conversation. It's really important that we take the time to learn how to communicate with someone who communicates without words. Thank you so much for listening and learning with me today about communicating without words. I hope you learned a little bit, and maybe you can pass that on to a friend as well.